I was in touch with the real woman that I was playing.
The real Rachel.
Yes, the real Rachel.
Hugh Jackman did say that your audition tape was the greatest audition he's ever seen.
Wait, that's crazy.
Do a lot of people still see you as Piper, or do you think they see you from all the other projects you've done?
I really try not to think about that. Getting to work with Hugh and Kate, and those moments are priceless. We had one thing in common. We loved Neil Diamond.
Hey, beautiful human, before we dive into today's episode, I'm excited to tell you that it's presented by HBO's Industry. If you haven't been watching, Industry Season 4 just dropped on HBO Max, and it is absolutely wild. The show follows the cutthroat world of the London finance scene, where ambition, power, and money collide in the most intense ways. I'm going to tell you more about it later on in the episode. I'll get you up to speed on what's going on in Season 4, so please stay tuned. But just know that this is the most gripping season yet. You need to be watching Season 4 of HBO's Industry. It's now streaming Sundays at 9 p.m. on HBO Max. Seriously, trust me. You don't want to miss it. Hello, beautiful human. We have an incredible actress in the studio. Say hello to Ella Anderson.
Hi.
By the way, Henry Danger, obviously. And the brand new one, Song Sung Blue. I watched it with my mom on Christmas Day.
That's very special.
We went together. And you are so fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Can you describe what life is like after you're in a movie that is out on Christmas Day?
Yeah.
That has, yes, like the subject matter we'll get into.
Sure.
But you are starring in this movie alongside two of quite easily the most iconic movie stars
Yeah.
that we have grown up with.
Yeah. It's so surreal. I feel like my life is something that I just kind of forget about. Like I'm a very artistic person, and so on days where I'm not necessarily like out in the world because I have to be, I just kind of get really lost in creative projects, and then it's like I come back up from like being underwater, and then I'm reminded of the fact that like certain things are my life. And yeah, it's I feel like it's a really special moment in my career, and I'm just able to recognize how insane it is.
It hits different.
Yeah.
Having a movie that premieres on Christmas Day.
Yeah. It really hits different.
Yeah, what is Christmas Day like? Knowing it's not just Christmas Day, it's like you have a movie premiere.
That's
that
what
day.
it was. Like for a lot of, so that's like the one time I feel like in this business where everything's actually shut down.
Totally.
You know, like they have other holidays, but people are still kind of texting, people are still emailing. And Christmas / Hanukkah or whatever anyone celebrates through New Year's, like that's when it's dead. But this was the first year for me where it was like on Christmas Day, I was with my family, but I was still kind of working in a way, and just thinking about it in the back of my mind. Like, yeah, it totally, it changed the dynamic. On Christmas Eve, I went with my grandparents, and it was their first time seeing it. And yeah, it was so special.
And it is such a family movie.
It is.
It is built for you to consume it cross-generationally.
Yeah.
And it is, you are so fantastic.
Thank you.
Your performance is so moving.
Thank you so much.
So can you explain to me how you get lost in this process? Like, where does it really begin for you? Because there is reference material here.
Absolutely. Yeah, so this was based off of a documentary. And I was in touch with the real woman that I was playing.
The real Rachel.
Yes, the real Rachel. So throughout the process, like I kind of had her as a resource, which was amazing. But at the same time, like I've also done a lot of projects where you're creating something out of thin air. So it's that combination, I think, of really just trusting your intuition. And I think I'm the kind of actor where I just have a really vivid imagination, and I allow it to run. And I also try to, like, looking at the radios on the wall, like I tune into a frequency in a way. And I discover a lot just from that, you know, like just from reading the script, but not like intellectualizing it in a way, like just allowing my intuition to lead. And then on top of that, I then was kind of going back and making sure that she kind of co-signed everything. And so much of what I feel like I discovered about who she is based off of Craig's screenplay and his adaptation of the documentary, like she confirmed was right on to her in that time of her life. So it's a mystical thing. But when you have a great story, it makes it really easy.
Can you explain, and I want to get into the story because I got to say the story is incredible. In a world where we see, and I was talking about this with our producer, most of the movies that come out about musicians are the most successful 0.25% of people who make it in the game. Those are the people who get the biopics.
Yeah.
And they deserve the biopics, and they're incredible.
Yeah.
And they need to be made. You never really see a movie that brings to life the actual struggle
Absolutely.
of the everyday musician who is just out there with this desire to fulfill a need to perform, but also provide for their family.
Yeah.
Ever. It was so beautiful.
I feel the same way. I think you hit the nail on the head. I have parents who are musicians.
Can you explain that to me? I didn't know that until today.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even, there's just so much. I have like certain really strong connections to the material, and then I have other things that like really were just so, I just was so not familiar with.
Like what? Okay.
Oh my gosh, there's so much. Oh my gosh. I really, like, I think I'm the youngest. I'll put it that way. I'm the youngest of two older brothers, the youngest daughter. And my parents are very, I feel like I'm able to do what I do just because my parents, like, had this stability in a way without it being, like, they're not lawyers or anything, as you know, but there was just this, like, this energy that allowed me to not have to worry about being responsible from a young age, if that makes sense. Like, for example, so many people in this business, or like people who are like child actors per se, or who started acting really young, like they took on a massive role at a really young age. And for me, that was not my experience, which is, you know, I think that really worked for me. I'm very grateful for that, because there was never pressure. But with Rachel, that was there from a really young age.
She carried the family.
She had to. She had no other choice. And so just exploring like what that experience might be like how that might affect really small just ways of being, and like almost protective like coping mechanisms, and just all of that. Like that was really, I had no idea about any of that. Like, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it and come back, because it's very special. But she gets pregnant.
Yeah.
She carries a baby full term. And so that was also a whole other set of, I know nothing about this. I've never like had to think about this in a personal sense. Like, I know mothers, but I've just been so young that I haven't thought about that. So that was a whole other set. And like, she works on cars. And so I was like YouTubing every single day, you know, like how to fix a leaky car radiator, and how to do an oil change on this car, how to do an oil change on a car from the 90s, or, you know, I didn't necessarily know I was like, our car's probably going to be a little bit older because we're not super wealthy. So like all those little tiny
and it's
nooks
set
and
in this
crannies.
like really interesting time period, which is like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
So like it's so familiar yet distant.
Yeah. And in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So that's a whole other set of, there's this mishmash, and like especially with Rachel, my character's like wardrobe and styling and all of those things. We thought a lot about, okay, she is interested in being like a normal teenager at her high school. She's interested in doing all these things, and yet like she's not really able to because she's always sort of preoccupied with like the chaos that she has to control in a way. But then at the same time, yeah, like both of those things. And so it was like, okay, some of her clothes might be really trendy, and some of the pieces or some of like the ways that she, like, this is just a really simple example. My hair color was colored, but I specifically left the roots of my hair
Exposed.
because that to me is like, okay, she wanted to do this thing to be like some of the girls probably at her school or in the magazines that she reads, and yet like months have gone by and she's been doing the taxes and she hasn't had time to go back and get that done, or the money because they're not like affluent. So it was things like that, and just wardrobe, like there's a just the pieces that were mixed. I
Are
suppose.
you working with the director to make these active decisions?
A lot of the time you are, I find, on projects, but with Craig, our director, it was so special because he had a really clear vision, and he wrote a script that was like, there's so much already there, and at the same time, like, he gave me this trust that I don't really know if I've ever experienced from a director before. Like, it was so freeing to have someone not only like give you this really rare gift of the material and the arc and like the person that Rachel was, like, within the dynamic of Mike and Claire's story, but also like to just create a space on set that was comfortable enough for me to like explore and play and try things out and not be like micromanaged, you know? It was that instinct. I could trust my instincts.
I want to talk about the musicians your parents were, but I do also want to know, like, what did you try out on set that maybe didn't make it to the final edit?
That's such a good question, because I find that when I'm like in between action and cut, I kind of enter a different like dimension in a way, and not to make it sound like more special than it is, but some actors are very like hyper aware of themselves when they're in a scene, and I feel like my focus is really just the person that's across from me or the people that I'm in the room with and my environment, and like the high of what I do is getting transported and lost. So
Interesting.
I don't even know. Yeah.
So you're not focused on what your next action is. You're only focused on what the other person is doing, because you already, it's not about, you can't anticipate what your character is going to do.
No. And then you're a lot like that opens up. I mean, like, for example, the scene in the hospital, like there was just so much, there were just, and there's small things. Like, I'm the kind of actor, I really love I love people, and I love, just the human experience. And my favorite thing about people, like, are those just minute little blinks, or the minute, like, those kinds of things. And so in the hospital scene, there was just so much that kind of overtook my body. And they were like adding, you know, more setups, just because on the page it's one way, and then when it's in real life it can be, or not real life, the faux, but it feels real.
Totally. You want it to feel real.
Yeah. And that comes with prep though. Like for me, it's not like
You have to be so intimately familiar with this person.
Exactly. So I do all of that before. I even step foot on set or like think about like I don't allow myself to think about being on set until I really feel like I know this person like the back of my hand or know them more than anyone else on this planet will. Because at the end of the day, like that's how we sort of feel about ourselves.
100%.
Like we can, even the people who we're the closest to, it's like, yeah, you understand so much of me, and yet there are these things that are probably not noticed by other people. So I kind of say I want to be like this person's best friend. I want to be like inside of their brain with them.
Well, it allows you to unconsciously respond and be as them to the
Exactly.
environments you're in.
Exactly. It's so special.
Well, Hugh Jackman did say that your audition tape was the greatest audition he's ever seen.
Wait, that's crazy.
That's really, I said to that, can we like,
Kate,
can we take that quote and like put it on like posters all over? Can we like put that on the news maybe? Like someone, can you clip that?
That's huge.
My body has chills. That's like, I didn't know what that's, you know how many auditions he's seen? Why do you, what was it about that audition?
I have no idea. I mean, from just hearing that though was like so. I feel like it was out of body.
What scene did you audition to?
I auditioned with a couple scenes that weren't even in the script when I read it. But one of them that's in there, and I think it was probably the scene that a lot of people were, I don't know, moved by, like behind the scenes before I worked on it, was the scene where I tell him that I'm pregnant. Mm-hmm. And I just think if I were to try to really give you an answer, I think from the jump, it's exciting when you read a person on a page and you feel like you could just reach out and touch them. And not because you've even seen them anywhere or met them anywhere, but just because like you just have a really specific idea of who they are. And parts of that might not be like, might not be really included like on the page. And so I ran with that, and I was able to just drop into that world. I guess I was transported, and did it
feel any different than any other audition you've ever done?
I think every audition feels different because they're different people. And unfortunately, like I hate to say it, but if the role is not, for lack of a better word, written well,
totally,
it makes a really big difference. And there's just this like inexplainable thing that you get where you just like know who they are and you just can tap into it. And if you can't tap into it already, you like have all of these really specific questions and this like map almost, and you don't necessarily know where it leads, but you know like it's like this mystery. That's what it is. It's like you're playing Clue. I don't think that's in Clue, but it's like, yeah, it's like you're a detective. I love it. It's so exciting. And so, yeah, I mean, it completely felt different because this person was so, I mean, she's so multifaceted. She's really strong and she can be maybe stubborn. She's very responsible, but she's also really soft, and she's also really sensitive, and she's also has like this sass to her, and she has a lot of pain, I think. Like there's just like when you have someone who is so layered, that informs a lot.
It gives you a lot to work with.
Yeah.
What kind of music did your parents make?
Okay, so my parents are the coolest. I love them. And they are classically trained musicians. My mother, I don't know why. She's an opera singer.
Oh, cool.
And then my dad is a cellist.
Sick.
Insane. He plays a lot of other instruments as well, though. But like that's his main, and that's my mom's main. And when they met each other, they started making techno music.
Wait, what?
What?
Yes. Yes.
Huh?
Which I don't know how that.
Wait, that's sick.
In the late 90s /around Detroit.
But I gotta say, that's where dance music and techno music were born.
Exactly. Like if anyone has any kind of idea that they were part of.
Wait, what?
I'm flexing on their behalf because I just think it's so cool. Like they literally were a part of the birth of Detroit techno. And like, oh my gosh.
Wait, that's...
Oh, well, my dad was also a DJ. I forgot to mention. So yeah, they're really, they're the coolest.
That's an amazing family to be a creative in. Because
For sure.
to your earlier point, right?
Yeah.
Like, they didn't need to be crazy rich, but because they were too creative, you had the flexibility and security to go and try things that were too creative.
Exactly. I truthfully was just never pushed to do anything that didn't ooze out of me. That's like kind of the way that my mom puts it.
How awesome.
She just allowed me to get excited by the things that I was excited by on my own. And then if I wanted to try them, then I could. But also, like, even with this, my parents were like, the second you don't love it anymore, like, just don't do it. Like, you tell us the second, I mean, the other, like, caveat to the extra little detail, like the subtext, I don't know the way that just was also like, if I become a snotty brat, they're also pulling me out.
Oh, got it.
But for the most part, it was like, the second that you don't like it anymore, like, don't do it. Do something else. And also, if you want to do something else that's like more stable and has a structure and like won't give you confusion for the rest of your life as to like whether or not it'll disappear in 1 second, then
Do you feel that still?
do I feel
That it could disappear in 1 second?
that's a good question. I should, but I don't focus on that because my parents are, and a lot of other family members of mine are also creative, and they're so seemingly fulfilled by their just focusing on expressing themselves.
As opposed to the success and monetary rewards.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I mean, like that is
that not so
that
deep?
is not at all praised in like my family. Especially not my brothers. Like I almost think that things are less cool if they're known. And
you
so
make money from them? Yeah.
Yeah, I think like totally. I'm sure like there's some small part of my brothers that's like embarrassed by the fact that some of their friends like have met me before and have been like, oh, is that blah, blah, blah. I think that's embarrassing for them.
From
Whereas
Nickelodeon?
a lot of other people, though, no, just in general. Because for them, like the coolest artists or the coolest like musicians are the ones that, well, I'm speaking for them. This is how I view them. But from my perspective, the coolest are like the ones that you've never really heard of and like the super underground. And so a lot of families aren't like that. And there's this like, I think subconscious thing pushed of like, well, you should get eyes on you. And for me, that has never been at all even something that I necessarily was aiming for.
How'd your parents feel about you taking on this role? Because there are very obvious parallels that could exist here. Like this desire to make art, not from necessarily money or fame, but because of it's purely expression.
Yeah. I think Craig did a really fantastic job of capturing that. It's something that I don't think has really been captured as accurately.
Ever.
And he has a gift for that. And my parents were, actually, to be fair, my parents don't really know what's going on. I was like, guys, read this script. Like, I wouldn't normally do that, but like, I just wanted them to know what I was a part of and like what, insane journey that I was going on while I was filming. And I don't think either. I think they were just like busy. My mom was writing like an album. She was recording, and my dad was like they were just doing their own thing.
They're creating their own stuff.
Yeah. And so I just couldn't really, they wouldn't give me the time of day. And my brothers, we were filming right by New York. And my brothers live in New York. Not to like give their location out.
It looked like you were filming in New Jersey.
We were filming in New Jersey.
I could tell.
Look at you. Are you from New Jersey?
What do you think?
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Totally,
I don't. So one thing about me, certain people, like in this kind of setting, it makes sense if like, I don't know, like a Wikipedia, but like I don't look at people's Wikipedia or anything like that before, just because it makes me feel.
But you give me Midwest energy.
Okay, so that's going back. Like I was born in Michigan.
Yes.
That's another tie to this project because it's a really Midwest story.
Totally.
And if you have family that's from the Midwest, like you'll be able to pick up on that. It was important to me that I was a good representative of the Midwestern values and the ways of being, all of that.
So your parents didn't read the script.
So
but they are proud.
I don't think they've ever been this proud of me. It's very strange. I remember, just like when my dad saw it for the first time, I was really nervous, but he loves film. And growing up, like we would go to the movie theater together and then we would talk about every last thing that we thought of each detail in the movie afterwards on the drive back, and like that was our thing. And so I knew that how much he would appreciate just the movie itself and what Craig did, but on top of that I was still nervous, and I feel like my job is pretty vulnerable, and so I wanted I wanted him to be proud. I think I wanted, all of them. And they were just really taken aback. And my brothers were like, I didn't know that I don't know. Like, I know your job, but I didn't really know that you could, like, do that necessarily. Like, I've seen you kind of that emotionally vulnerable in our real life. And so the fact that, like, I mean, they didn't say all, but essentially, like, you doing that in a movie as someone else, like, I didn't. And they were like, whoa, why are you pregnant? Why am I seeing you give birth? So it was just, I think for my whole family, they don't get into my business. And so it's kind of,
Industry is big. Yo, Beautiful Human Industry is back. Premiering January 11th, the acclaimed HBO original series returns for another thrilling season. And it is absolutely wild. When a splashy fintech startup bursts onto the London finance scene, Harper and Yasmin are drawn into opposing sides of a high-stakes financial deal that could bring them both down. Relationships begin to warp and fracture under the pressure of money, power, and the desire to win. In the market, perception is everything. Who is selling the truth and Who is Dealing in Lies. Industry stars Mayala, Marisa Abela, Kit Harington, Ken Lung, Sagara Dia, and Miriam Pesh. This season welcomes new cast members Kiernan Shipka, Max Minghella, Charlie Heaton, and Cal Penn. Don't miss the award-winning series Wildest Season Yet. You need to be watching. Seriously. Season 4 of HBO's Industry is now streaming Sundays at 9 p.m. on HBO Max. Is it fair to say the Glass Castle would change your professional life?
I think it changed not my professional life on the surface, but it changed absolutely my clarity as an artist, without a doubt. That project was so special to me because I was really young in hindsight. I was like 11 when we filmed it. But by then I felt like I had been in love for so many years already, and I was so moved by the material, and the people that I was working with really respected me for the first, I mean, I don't want to say for the first time, but like there's a respect as a, because that wouldn't be true, but there's a respect as a child, and the opinions of a child, and then there's a respect as like an equal, and I was treated like an equal for the first time on set. And that was also with like some pretty extraordinary actors.
Brie
like
Larson.
It was, yeah, Brie Larson, Woody Harrelson, Naomi Watts, Destin Daniel Cretton directed it. And so like that little group of Academy Award nominated and like winning actors, they were like, they listened to me when I expressed my perspective on something, and they encouraged it. And it was kind of a similar thing with that, like freedom. There's a magic in getting a trust from the people that you're around, and a generosity, which I experienced both on the Glass Castle and on Song Sung Blue, like from the actors that I was working with and who were my scene partners. Like they just gave. Woody Harrelson was, I hate to like use this first and last, but it just feels weird for me. He just gave every single scene. And a lot of my most like intense scenes were with him. And so the fact that like he was not an actor who was focused on making themselves seem good or like look flattering, like skill wise. He was focused on like, how can we give to each other? And then that kind of allows you to create this like stream of transfer almost. And yeah, I after that project, I guess to sum it all up, like I was really sure about what was fulfilling.
It's interesting because the timing of that, you do it while you're in the middle of Henry Danger.
Fully.
So I feel like you had one idea of maybe what you wanted to do.
I love that. I love that.
You loved a multicam sitcom,
I
and
love
then
that you.
Glass Castle comes in.
I love that you even like brought. Yeah, I love that you even brought that up. Because I did multiple movies on either the hiatus, which for people who don't know is like the time in between seasons of the show, or I was very blessed to have certain like episodes worked around so that I could be gone filming.
You know what a big deal that is?
Oh my gosh, that's so unheard of.
I know the set you were on, sister. I
That
know what
is
that's.
so unheard of.
That's like a gymnastics routine while also being lit on fire, while also riding on an elephant, while also pigs fly around you.
while also being in like zero gravity or something. Like it's not
crazy.
It's so I don't even think I've met anyone who has necessarily it's like so rare. Very rare.
Can't tell you because people have tried before.
Oh yeah.
For like far shorter. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my gosh. And so I give all the props and the thanks though to like the people in power who like made that happen for me, and for some reason like I just think that maybe it was my passion that really
Totally.
people could see, and like the fact that they kind of saw that and like made sure to like get things moved around to allow me to film like was amazing. But then even going deeper was I started in like doing movies. I didn't, for a lot of people, like a sitcom was their first real project, like beyond commercials or really be like guest star kind of things. Like that's what a lot of people's story is. For me, I was very young, but like the first thing that my first experiences on set were like single camera movies. And so getting to do all of these different types of mediums and multi-cameras so different was amazing. But also I kind of knew that film was what I just naturally connected to like the most in a way. Like I knew that probably by the time I was like 6.
And when we think of film, do we think of the Henry Danger movie?
Some people I don't want to talk for
When we think of cinema?
Yeah, absolutely.
Was it weird going back to do that?
I mean,
Totally,
in truth,
yeah. It was a long time.
In truth, it was, but like also I genuinely I love those people. Like they're my cousins.
Jace is an amazing person.
Oh my gosh.
He's a good egg.
I have so much love for all of them. The cast, the crew. I love them.
I mean, it's 5 years later too.
Yeah, but also like even going back, the way that it's connected with people like truly makes me so happy. And the fact that like in a lot of people's formative years, like this was something that gave them like relief, and that is so I recognize how special that is. And yet at the same time, like I really knew something about myself, and like I kind of knew that film was like my first love, and you can't necessarily change your own mind on something that's like an indescribable like like gravitational pull that you have towards one kind of medium. So yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting because like my experience in that situation, like so many people, that was like their pocket. And for me, I was like, I love this for so, like, again, I love it for so many reasons. And yet I was also kind of like yearning to do more movies.
Be challenged, do other things.
And so, yeah, like the fact that they worked around my schedule and like allowed me to do that.
And I got to say, you haven't really done any TV since, so you really focus on movies.
I just think like I everything I choose to do is really organic, and I am just thoughtful about like only signing on to doing something if it feels like 100% like um reflective of or no, I don't want to say reflective of me, but um like just when you are so um like you can't stop thinking about all of the things that you would um do with a project, if that makes sense. Like when you can't when you can't get the material out of your head because it just feels like so you're just on fire for it. Yeah.
And Jesus Land is one of those projects?
Yeah, I read the New York Times bestseller memoir by Julia Shears, and it was one of those moments where I was like, I I have that really specific idea of like how I would translate this on to screen. And so um that was another one of those things where I was playing a real person, and I went super deep into like research for that role, and that one is based in the 80s in Indiana, and then part of it is at an abusive reform school in the Dominican Republic, and so that was like really intense and really fulfilling at the same time. And truthfully, I'm like in such a lovely spot because I have never had a clearer vision of what I want to do.
It's amazing.
Like what like who I am as an artist. And so I am just like on the edge of my seat and like reading scripts and just being thoughtful and allowing myself to be thoughtful.
How many things do you balance at once? Like, will you be in production on something while also reading and auditioning, or?
You have to. I mean, in kind of the spot that, because like also I'm really I'm exploring like new territories, and so like I have really a lot of years under my belt, and like some of the projects that I did, like even Henry Danger, for example, one of the amazing things out of the many great things that I brought with me from doing that project was like it was like boot camp, and I completely forgot where was I with
The training you get from working
yeah
on that set,
yeah
you can almost do anything after that.
that's exactly okay that was my point.
I gotcha.
So that's yes, and so I have so many years of experience, like from the second that I expressed, okay, I'm like I'm so in love with movies, and I'm so in love with like being transformed from like sitting in a cinema and then walking out and like not being able to like remove it from my DNA in a way. Like I knew that I loved that, and so from the minute I knew that, my parents allowed it, and so I've been doing it for a long time. And on top of that, like I've done projects where it's so boot camp, and so I have so much experience under my belt. But like I also um I also am reaching a different chapter, and so it feels like there's just so much that I haven't necessarily like established myself in. Like from my perspective, and I'm being truthful, like um I have not um established myself as like the kind of actor that I am or just artist or creative or
Yeah, but
whatever. And not in a way that's like that needs to happen or is like urgent, but just kind of this knowing of that's exciting. Like I get to kind of step into a whole new map, like
and define who you are with every
Yeah.
project.
Exactly.
And by the way, people like with every project, you are defining who you are, and you are kind of giving an idea of the performer you want to be.
It's so and the fact that I'm able to do that by just like trusting where I feel like my inner compass is leading me, and I think I have this North Star without like having to overthink each step of the way, which is great.
Do a lot of people still see you as Piper, or do you think they see you from all the other projects you've done?
I really try not to think about that. I think I started doing this so like when I was so mushy brained that like I kind of I mean that's like
It's
really
true. Yeah.
that I learned that's not like even allowing myself to open up that like thought of what are people that are outside of me perceiving me as, or like what box do they put me in, or like who like that does not take me like anywhere. And I think if you're maybe in a different profession, like you can kind of do that and it isn't like detrimental. But I really learned like probably when I was, I don't know, maybe like 10 or 11, like that, just don't even think about it. So I just think about, I know who I am. And even if I continue to grow, I allow myself to like continue learning who I am, and I allow myself to just like give myself the ability to do that, and to no matter what, like only do something if it feels right for me.
But also, the guy who brought this latest film that you're into life made it clear that he had not known you from Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Nor did he know King Princess,
which is crazy.
as a musician.
Crazy.
What was it like working with her?
With KP.
King
Princess. I mean, she's the coolest. It was
And so funny.
so funny.
So funny.
It's so like, it's also effed up, dude. I watched the whole movie, and the whole time I'm like, oh, I know her. I know her.
Really?
I know her. And then at the end, I'm like, I go to my mom, that's King Princess.
Yep. Yep.
I had no idea.
So I showed up to the camera test, and first of all, it was my first time meeting anyone. There are some projects I've done where like you do rehearsal before you even start filming. It was my first time meeting all of them. And then we were like straight into taking family photos together, which was great. But I had no idea who was going to be playing my stepsister. And I walked up and I was like, wait, I don't know them. That can't be. And then I was talking, and then I was like, fuck. That's King Princess. That's why they introduced me. They introduced themselves to me as KP. Oh wow, that's insane. And then also like when we did the table read, and when we started like doing scenes together, I was also like, oh my gosh, and you make it really easy, and you make it like feel like a really good time to just like kind of fuck around in a way, but with like the respect still being there, like some actors will not have that like underlying respect. And like also she's really really educated in film, and like really kind of has the craziest like eye for actors. And so I think it makes so much sense that like she's exploring that
She's incredible.
world. really, really, really good.
What did you learn from Kate Hudson?
So much. I think I learn the most without even asking certain questions. Like, certain things that you wonder do come up, but like watching both Hugh and Kate, like how they gave as much of themselves to these roles as necessary. Like, no matter what it took, blood, sweat, tears, how people kind of say that. They did that, and they not only did that like every hour, but they did that every single day. And Kate in this role, I think she's so good, and she allowed me to kind of tap into that other Milwaukee in the 90s, in these circumstances, in this world, and like that 100% was my, like, the reality for me at times, just because of how much it was her reality. I mean, her dialect is like so perfect.
Yeah, it's superb.
Her, like, just everything, like, it's so raw, and yet it's so magnetic, and she's like a sparkly person. She's shimmers.
You need to feel like you're actually there to be your best.
I think so.
It's cool.
Because otherwise it's like, you know, when you're doing some kind of sci-fi project and you have to imagine like a dragon. Not that I've necessarily done that. I would, if I was in Game of Thrones, that wouldn't be terrible. But otherwise, you have to like imagine things and make things up in your head. But if you have an actor who like you don't have to do that with,
it's great.
It's so much fun.
But it allows you to do the same for them.
Maybe. I mean,
you hope, right?
I think. Yeah, I'm sure it does. I just think, if anything, it makes it that much more like engaging, and you get that much like more of the really special adrenaline thing of like totally forgetting your name. Right. Like, I don't, that is like completely escaped me. All that I am thinking about and feeling and knowing is like this imaginary world.
Is that like the sign of you're doing this right?
That's what I chase. That's like really, and so that's where it's also, I just kind of have this knowing when I was able to really tap into that. And I think there are certain things that can help with that. But then also I think that it just comes over you at times. I think it's like a little magic, like a magical bottle of some sorts.
When did you experience that for the first time?
Oh, I think I experienced that for the first time probably on the first movie that I did.
Suncoast? Mother's Day? Which one?
First movie I did was like nobody's knows about, like, it's called Touchback.
I don't know.
No.
Is it a football movie?
It was filmed in Michigan. I did like 3 movies back to back. There was one called Touchback. There was one called The Giant Mechanical Man, which is actually like pretty cute. I haven't seen it in a long time. And then there was one more that was called, they like changed the name a couple times. That it was like a Lifetime movie. But I did those 3 pretty much back to back. And the first one though was Touchback. And And I had never been on a set before, but I felt like I knew certain things that I hadn't learned. Like, I just felt like I had done it before and I hadn't. And I just remember, like, with marks, for example, like, there just were things that, I had, like, downloaded in a way. And I just remember when they would yell cut, it was like, oh my gosh, that's the best feeling ever because I'm no longer myself. And how is that possible? And it was amazing because, like, watching movies together was the glue that, like, held our family together. And I knew how powerful that they could be. And so the fact that, like, I was able to receive that feeling and for it to be, like, working towards the greater purpose of, like, achieving a narrative that is
Pretty
like
cool.
impactful. Yeah, so it was really from the jump. And then it was, like, upsetting to find that, like, certain variables can, like, knock you off the, like, like, you have to learn how to they can knock you off of that tightrope or that, like, other plane. And so then from there it was like, okay, I suppose I have to learn certain things to recalibrate so that even if I don't have the environment like how it would be in a perfect world, I can still, like, achieve that feeling. Or I can still just be truthful to, like, who it is that I'm playing, like the person that they are.
My next question is from our presenting sponsor. It is HBO's Industry. Is there a moment where you really had to bet on yourself and you were the only person betting on yourself?
Yeah. Yeah.
When was it?
There have been a lot of moments like that. But I essentially chose to not continue down the the path of the, like, a genre that I kind of was starting to solidify myself into, which was, like, the sitcom multicam world. And I was like, that doesn't feel truthful to what I know will ultimately fulfill me. And everyone around me was like, this is kind of maybe really stupid, like a very dumb decision. But I just wasn't even fazed by that. I that didn't stop me from still choosing what feels right in a way. And yeah,
Look where
that's
it's got
something
you.
I don't think I'll regret that. Yeah.
How could you?
Because I've been able to, yeah.
Look at the projects you've been a part of.
Even just this one in particular, like Song Song Blue was so special. And getting to be a part of this story and like touching more people with it and getting to work with Hugh and Kate and those moments are priceless. They really are.
Thanks for hanging out here today.
Thank you so much.
You're really special. Means a lot. You're really cool.
Thank you for having me.
How many times you get to listen to Sweet Caroline on set?
So hundreds.
I bet.
And in the past couple months, I've heard it hundreds of times also. One little just tidbit though. I heard about a Neil Diamond tribute performer who was like in my neighborhood, and about 6 months ago I like bought tickets and I went to go see him, and I'm totally like,
wait, did they perform Solomon?
Okay, they performed everything and the crowd was like the demographic, they were 60 up, 70s, wonderful people. We had one thing in common. We loved Neil Diamond, Love. And I knew all of the words and everyone to every song. And everyone was like, how does this like baby know all of these songs? And
They had no idea.
well, no, of course not. But it was great. It was great. I had a good time, and it's a good song. Stream it.
By the way,
Straight up, like he needs the help.
He doesn't
Sweet
need
Caroline,
it.
Solomon. I mean, the whole catalog is incredible. I gotta say,
He loves the movie.
it was well. He had to approve it all too.
I mean, yeah, I think like we already, yeah, I didn't necessarily know that.
He had to help, I think, approve the documentary.
Yes,
and
yes,
the
yes,
documentary,
yes,
the
yes.
movie
Got
is
it.
based off the
And
documentary.
then
Yeah.
he still needs to greenlight syncs. So like when the music at least
Exactly.
is used.
No, that was one thing, is like the fact that he gave us the rights was like so insane. And so, yeah, just so much of it was like there are just moments I think that I'm able to recognize are like unicorn moments. And the doors that it's already opened are like really special ones. And I'm just like, I'm excited to be at this point in my life, you know, like stepping into my adulthood and this season of my career and creativity.
And the journey is truly just beginning. So
It is.
please, as you release movies, we're here. Come back.
I would love to. Thank you for having me.
We are
I'm
always
such a fan.
around. Final thoughts?
I think we covered a lot.
Ella Anderson, everybody.
Thank you.
Song Blue.
See
Watch.
it.